Hi, Christine Crowell here, and welcome to my channel. And today I want to talk about something really serious, and I'm just really not understanding why we're still back at where we were in the beginning with behavior, with toxic behavior in the workplace, and also discrimination as well. And I'm going to talk about it because it is quite, it's just happening. There hasn't been much of a change from what I'm seeing from when I was working in the institutions, in all honesty. And I'm here today to just really talk about it because a lot of people can't talk about it. So I'm going to be talking and speaking up about what is happening in some of the workplaces, the very large workplaces that we all know of, for example. And this brings me to the subject matter of why people are quitting. You would have noticed my previous videos here on YouTube where I talk about quitting, where people are actually quitting their job. They're just leaving, because they're tired. They're exhausted. They're not being listened to. They're not feeling valued. And there's also discrimination going on as well. I mean, I work with clients from around the world and I'm hearing it. Nothing's really changed that much. Why? We have all these policies in place. We have all of these discussions, all of this documentation to say that this is happening, and if this happens then you can report it. And I just feel that there's not enough support for frontline staff, healthcare workers, nurses, for example, where they can actually turn to someone that they can really speak up and be truthful and honest without it being a reprimand, or without them being discriminated against, or without them feeling as if to say they're being isolated and that they don't want to go into work. They work so hard, but yet they're being treated in this way. And it's unfair. It shouldn't be happening. Not in today's world. We're taught to work hard. And a lot of you are working hard. People are working hard. They're doing 12-hour days. Some are doing 14-hour days. Some are even doing 16-hour days. They're working really hard. And yet they're not feeling valued. In my book here, We Will Love You From a Distance. It's on Amazon, by the way. And I talked about this in 2022. I talked about the Great Resignation. It's on page 4 here. This isn't a huge book. I made it simple so that it's easy to read and it's not going to take hours and hours, for example. Okay. And in this book, We Will Love You From a Distance, where I talk about carepreneurs supercharging post-COVID care sector, for example. Okay. I've also got an article on this as well. I talk about that in this worldwide scenario where workers are leaving their jobs. The Great Resignation is a phenomenon that describes record numbers of people leaving their jobs after the COVID-19 pandemic crisis ends. Some companies are looking at ways to keep staff employed, but this is for positions which are non-patient facing jobs. So, and I continue on and I say that this will need to have the same pay. They want to have the same pay and similar job roles, but under acceptable terms. So the professor who talked about this, where this came from, Anthony of Texas A&M University, for example, that he predicts a large number of people leaving their jobs after the COVID pandemic ends and life returns to normal. Now, people are leaving their jobs. They're leaving because they are tired. They don't feel valued. They are working long days. I've been there. I have worked 12-hour shifts, 14-hour shifts in the hospital, for example, and also in a care home, for example. You don't feel valued. You don't feel valued. You feel as if you are not important. And that's why I left those positions. And thank God I started to work for myself. You see, I wanted to be in care and I wanted to be a coach, and that's who I am today. I help CEOs to be their best versions of themselves, to be able to run a successful business of their dreams and be global if you want to be global, like I am global. My company is a Cyprus company. I don't live in the UK. I live in Cyprus, but I am worldwide and I serve people worldwide and have done so for 4 years since I've been here in Cyprus in 2020. And what I want to talk to you about is that, like I said, I'm hearing from clients how difficult it is for them. They work in the hospitals. They are working flat out, blood, sweat, and tears. But some of them are becoming, they're so overworked that they're actually becoming depressed. They're becoming anxious. They've got anxiety. They're becoming, some can be a bit strange in their thinking because they're so stressed that they haven't got time to think clearly on the most simplest subjects. And what I also want to say is that I can relate to that because I've been there myself. I remember when I was driving my car and I totally had to pull over to one side because I couldn't remember what side of the road I was meant to be driving on. And I was, in my 40s then, for example. So another explanation I will give to you is my brother. He was a social worker and he worked really hard. He worked long hours, day and night. He would travel to different places, for example, and he was stressed. He didn't show it, but he was. He was internally, he was stressed. So the stress was going into his body. And I believe that that is what broke down his organs in his body. He's passed away. And I always remember saying to him for years, why don't you run your own agency? You'd be really good at that. Why don't you do that? but he didn't know how to get out from it because he studied to become a social worker, for example, and then he got the job of his dreams, but he was working so hard and it was very stressful for him, very stressful. There was a lot of responsibility, a lot of weight was on his shoulders, and I was seeing it. And he passed away, 2015. He passed away because he was working so hard and he didn't know how to get out. He didn't know how to find another job because he had good pay, there was a good pension, there was good benefits, for example. But it's, I have to look at things. Is it really worth it? Can we find something that we enjoy doing that's not going to wear our bodies out, our mindset, our wellness? Another example is my twin brother. He worked really hard from the age of 18 to 55. He was able to retire at 55. Now, not many black men can say that they were able to retire at 55, but he worked hard. Some days he did 6 days a week working because he was working towards getting his pension. And this is in America. My brother in America, my twin brother, Christopher, in America, he passed away last year, 2023. He worked really hard, and I believe that it was the work that caused him to become, it contributed to it, to his death. I believe so. Obviously, there were other things I can't really go into too much, but I believe that that is because people are working so hard and they're working to their boss and they're following these rules and regulations, but who's following your rules and regulations for your body, for your wellness? We got to wake up. We got to wake up, because is it really worth it if it's taking a toll on you? Some people, they're getting in their car, they're driving to work, they don't want to get out the car. This is when you know it's getting too much for you. When you're in your car, you're driving to work and you're dreading going into that building and seeing people. You're dreading it. You're crying in your car, sometimes screaming. And then you're going into work and you're not happy, but you're keeping it internally, inside. And this is where you've got to be really careful, because you could end up having a nervous breakdown. And you don't want that for yourself. Your family doesn't want that for yourself. I don't want that for yourself. That's why I'm trying to teach my clients how to do a care agency, but you can do any type of business that you want to. You can be a CEO of any business. Find what you love. Find what you enjoy doing. This book that I've got on Amazon, I talk about 50 healthcare business types that you could do for yourself. It doesn't have to be a care agency. It doesn't have to be home care. It doesn't have to be medical staffing. It can be telehealth care. There's lots here. Talk about a list of them that you can do. You don't necessarily have to come from a healthcare background. You know, it just, you know, parts here where I say, you know, you've got to focus on yourself, focus on your prosperity, focus on your wellness, focus on your life. What do you want? What is your higher version of you? What would they want to do right now? So like I talk here in the book about how healthcare workers can be CEOs, how you can be business owners. I talk about there's lots of things you could do: patient transport, telecare, virtual care, recruitment care agency, imaging, diagnostics, healthcare, mobile apps, development, recruitment, healthcare software, for example, online pharmacy, healthcare digital marketing, healthcare blogger, medical transcription services, medical records management, medical billing services, online healthcare community, start an online care community, online healthcare insurance agency, online medical consultations, medical tourism, operations, nutritionalists, dietitians, alternative health care, health information, website, medical supply, sales, uniforms for medical professionals, hearing aids, diabetic care, midwife, doula, massage therapy, wellness coach, healthcare training school, healthcare uniforms, online, hospital cleaning business, accountancy business for healthcare professionals. Specialize in that because that is needed. Occupational therapy, health information website, online health and wellness business, online health checks coach. You could be a coach, a health coach, medical equipment, residential nursing home, supported living, medical equipment, training school, mother and baby unit, ambulance service, PPE, protective equipment, dental practice, you could do eye, for example. You can do physiotherapists. You could be home care agency owner. Just giving you a list of things: nursing agency, children's services, social worker agency. Find your passion. Whatever it is, find your passion and be your own boss if you want to. I'm not saying that you should be your own boss, but if that's what you want to do, then do it. If not, go and find another job where you're going to be happy, but plan it. I'm not saying to just quit, leave your job, then you got no money coming in, then you can't pay your bills, etc., because that's important. What you got to look at is what you want to do. Focus on what the next job is going to be. If you're not going to start your own business, then you got to look at, where do I find a job? Look for that job. Then see what they do in that job first. Talk to some people about what they do, and then plan. You go for that interview. You don't need to tell your workplace. You go for that interview, you get that job, and then you make a start date, and then you give in your notice. Because if you're not happy and you are going into work and you're feeling sad, I'm not talking about you're just having an off day, a bad day. That's, people do, that's normal, for example. I'm on about if you are truly not happy in your workplace, it gives you anxiety, it creates stress, in your mind. You don't feel well. You feel dizzy. You feel like you're going to pass out, because that could be anxiety, could be different forms coming through. So I wanted to do this video today because if you are a frontline worker, for example, the busy period is coming up and you're going to be even more busier. You're going to be working longer hours. And I really wanted to raise awareness for you, that you're not the only one going through this. There's lots of people going through this. So don't think it's you, because it's not. It's the system. So I just wanted to talk to you, because obviously when you're in a very large organization, you know, it's a lot for that organization to try and look after everybody, but something's got to be done, because we cannot continue in this way, because people are having nervous breakdowns. People are dying. Literally, they are dying through the stress and the anxiety, and their wellness is being impacted. What I would say to you though is to try and do some form of exercise. I do exercises every single day because I need to, for my wellness, for my well-being, for my mindset, so that I'm able to deal with, when I'm hit with difficult times, I can cope better. Otherwise I would be in a difficult situation, for example, with coping. So I just wanted you to listen to this video. I hope that it's resonated with you. And I'm going to be doing some more videos like this, because I'm talking to my clients and I know that they're not the only ones going through this. That's why I've come on here to talk to you, to see whether you're going through this. If you could just let us know in the comment here that, you know, that this resonated with you and that it's helped you. And I want to try and build a community for this as well, for support, a support network. It will be once a month online, and you'll be speaking with and talking and networking with other like-minded individuals like you. So I hope that you've enjoyed today's discussion. It's not a training, it's a discussion, it's a heart-to-heart discussion, so that you know that you're not alone. It's hard out there. It's hard. So keep strong, and I pray to God that you get strength so that you can face the day, each day. But please do listen to this video and see whether it's something that you can implement. All right? So take care. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Goodbye.